So the Immortal King set is pretty iconic in Diablo 2. And this is what it looks like on your Barbarian right up over here. Now, today we're going to take a look at all of the pieces, how they work together, the set bonuses, see how it really works, and really determine, is the Immortal King set godly or is it garbage? So I'm going to be pulling pieces off here and there and showing you what each partial set kind of does, if it's kind of good. I'll show you being the ones that people usually use and the full set and how good that totally works, if it is godly or garbage. First, I'm going to kind of show you the build just super quick. It's not a full build guide. It's not a perfect build, but I have it built for what I'm doing here. I'm just going to show you what I'm rocking here. Now, I have a ton of strength so that I could wear every piece of gear regardless of which ones I take off and put on. So that's why I had to get the strength so high. And then when I put the gear on, it gave me a bunch more strength. So strength's a little higher than what you would necessarily have to have it, but sometimes getting more strength can add some more damage anyway, so perfectly fine in my opinion. Didn't add any to Dex, max vitality. The resistances are actually pretty crazy. Look how high these resistances are here, 230 and 229. So this is well over the 75%. That's up into like 120 res or something. So if you get hit with conviction, you'll still be doing perfectly fine. It's not going to pull you down to like minus 70 resistance or anything like that. When you take a look at the skill tree, we'll go with the combat skills first. We're going Whirlwind because you use a hammer here. For the Immortal King set is the set Ogrimal. So we got Whirlwind, Combat Masteries. It's a mace. Hammers are a type of mace, so we got Mace Mastery. And then we put one into increased stamina, increased speed, and natural resistance. And with this build, I wasn't sure maybe you could dump a ton of points in the find item and not do this, but I went ahead and put a bunch of points. Maxed out Iron Skin actually, so the defense is super high, so won't be getting hit as often. Over here, we went 1 point into Howl, Taunt, Shout, Battle Cry, so we can get down, and actually maxed out Battle Orders, so we'll have a ton of life from that. And I got 1 point into Battle Command. And then I put any of my remaining points, I put 1 into Find Potion, and then the rest of them into Find Item. If you've got a Barbarian, you're going to want to find better gear here and there, blah, blah, blah. So put more points into Find Item. Now for the gear, obviously we got a ton of Immortal King set, but the things that aren't Immortal Kings that I'm using, I actually went dual Angelics because nothing can bug me more than whirlwinding through a horde of monsters and you just don't hit anything. That's could be the most annoying thing. So you get 1,000 attack rating out of this. Then you get 75 to life up here, and you get a little bit of dex from the 2-piece set as well. And then over on the other ring, you got to get Mana Leech from somewhere. I got Mana Leech, Life Leech, a little All Res, and a little mana. Now for the rest of the items, it's all the Immortal King set. I got the full set on. You can see by the shininess right here. Looks pretty cool on the character. Now we've got the hammer here. It's got 2 open sockets. I did not put anything in it. You could plug some shells in it, some enhanced damage jewels, ohms, all different kinds of things. You could stick some things in there to give them crushing blow or something. I think it's, what is it, a Burt Rune or something ridiculous. I wouldn't suggest doing that. I would not suggest doing it, but you could. So those are just 2 open sockets right now. As we sit, you can take a look down there and you can see, since I have the full set on, the full set bonus is 3 to Barbarian skills, 450 attack rating, 150 to life, 50 all res, and then magic damage reduced there. When we take a look up here, actually real quick, I do want to look at, with the set piece bonuses here, you see it also does have adds the 250 to 361 magic damage, the poison damage there. It adds cold, lightning, and fire damage, all different amounts. So I do just want to note that for the full set. Up here, it does not get any bonuses actually for partial or full set outside of the full set bonus. So the individual piece does not get any extra, but Immortal King's Helm is pretty good. It's got the 2 to War Cries, and it's got a bunch of magic find. Most of the time people will plug in 2 perfect topazes here to get that magic find all the way up there. Now down to the boots here, this is a half freeze duration for the full set bonus on this individual piece outside of the full set. So it's kind of confusing the way that I get worded here, but the gold words there are the full set bonus, and then the individual pieces full set bonuses are right there. The half freeze duration, the 160 defense. You actually get 2 to combat skills on your boots, which is very, very uncommon to get actual skills to your character anywhere in Diablo 2 or on your boots. But it also gets 25% better magic find. So it's not the max of 50 you can get on War Traps, but you can get some good magic find there with some set pieces here. And we'll take a look at how many set pieces you really need to get these bonuses in a minute. But just the normal set right here, the normal gear, I mean, you get 100 to attack rating, 110 actually, 40% faster walk run. You got 44 to life, and it's got a ton of defense, almost 300 defense on those boots. Taking a look at the belt, some more skills here on the belt, which is pretty cool for the set bonuses. 2 to masteries, 20% damage reduction here, 25 hit recovery, 100% enhanced defense and 100 defense, so a 250 defense belt. So usually defense it doesn't really matter that much, but I mean, if you're going to have a ton of defense, it will matter some. You also do get 25 to strength and both lightning and fire res 3128 respectively. Yeah, it's pretty good with the full set and everything here. We're looking at the gloves, 20 dex, 20 strength. That's pretty cool on that. You actually have freeze target 2 on it, so you're going to be freezing all the targets you hit. And with the full set, you actually get 10 to both mana and life leech. So you don't have to worry about necessarily having something like this dual leech ring, because these can be semi-difficult to find. But if you have the full set, actually you get that dual leech from your gloves. On top of that, there's 120 defense and 25% increased attack speed. Once again, over 200 defense here on another piece that usually most gloves in the game do not have that much. Now, this all looks pretty good, but once you start taking pieces off, let's say you want to go with a different piece, go ahead and watch the full set bonus down there with the 3 to barb, 450 to life, attack rating 150 life, 50 alt res. We'll just take off, let's say you just don't want to use them all. You're going to throw on a Grief, which is amazing. The best melee weapon in the game. Almost all of the set bonus disappears with the exception of the attack rating. So here's the gloves. You can see it also lost a little bit. We'll throw it back on just to look at it. It lost the freezes target, and it lost just that actually, but you do lose all of that stuff from the full set bonuses, all that resistance, 3 to barb skills, all that life. It's actually crazy how you lose literally everything if you don't use the entire set, and you notice you lose the little glow up here. Let's look at everything else though. That never did have anything in it for the individual set bonus on that, but right here you can see it's just got the resistances on there and hit recovery. It lost just the defense actually was all that it lost on the armor. So for having 4 pieces, and down here at the boots, it still has quite a bit on it. All it lost was absolutely nothing actually. It still has everything, just the full set bonus there. Without the full set, you actually on the belt lose the 2 to mastery. So if you do throw on a different weapon up here, depending on what it, Breath of the Dying, Thunder Maul or something, and you wanted to go with everything else, it does lose a ton in these other spots. Not to mention, you're losing mega lot from the full set bonus. We will go and try some of this out here later too, so stick around for that. But one thing I do note, I've used it a little bit, I've heard other people talk about it as well. If you're rocking some different kinds of barbarians, this does have 2 to war cries, so if maybe you're using a singer perhaps, you throw on the Immortal King's helmet and the Immortal King's boots, so a 2-piece set, you get that tiny bit to attack rating, but really, you're getting boots with a bunch of life on it and a bunch of faster walk run. So if you don't have Enigma, probably you can have these so you can run faster. Like I said, the life, 25% better magic find, and up here you throw a couple topazes in it, it's getting up there with the same amount of magic find as a Shaco. So this can really be a good option early on. They are pretty easy pieces to find. I believe you can find both of these from Nightmare and Andariel and on, probably normal Bale even. I don't remember exact item levels. I'm pretty sure you can get both of these from Nightmare and Andariel, and act bosses on from there. So we'll go ahead and throw some of these on, and we'll just go test it out in an easy area. I do want to mention too, I do have a torch and Annie down here, but this is a Necro Torch with the worst possible stats. The Annie is, man, it's okay, nothing insanely crazy, but it is an alright Annie. Just threw them on there because later in ladder, a lot of people are going to have that. You should be able to get yourself some garbage 11, 10 Barbarian Torch. They're literally the cheapest in the game. We'll just hop out to the Frigid Highland, a really quick and easy place to test this out. So we'll hop out here. We'll do our battle orders up and all that good stuff. And I do want to just show real quick just the Mercenary. It's a Garbage Insight, a Treachery, and a Talisman Mask. So go to Act 2 Mercenary here, and it is the Might Aura one. So we're going to go ahead and test out. Let's see how Whirlwind is hitting. This is just players 1 out here at Eldritch and Shank. And you can see it's definitely making contact in this. Oh boy, my bad. This is not pro Whirlwind Barb strat right here. Now it is working okay. Let's see. And it worked pretty good. And then, of course, you can hit them with Find Item, especially the bosses and stuff. And boop, boop, boop. Didn't get nothing here. We'll go ahead and move down to Shank down here and see how he takes out that group. Here's just some monsters we'll spin through here. And this is just players 1. And actually, this is taking stuff out pretty darn good. And just remember, all of the sockets that could come on this particular item are empty. So there's no shale runes in the Ogre Maul or anything like that. No increased enhanced damage, nothing like that. But it really is working pretty good here on Players 1. This is going to be one that I'm going to be interested here to test out on higher Players difficulty, and I'm actually going to do that for you as soon as I'm done item finding these guys. I'm going to turn these up to Players 3 and hit the Frigid Highlands. That's actually worked a little bit better than even I was anticipating. I have not used this since the new patch came out, and I know that they did change a lot of the different things with many of the set bonuses and stuff like that. Wow, I'm getting really frozen from Eldritch over here. Unfortunately, look how slow I'm spinning. Wow, it really did do quite a bit of damage when you do make contact. I'm kind of surprised, I'm going to be honest. I don't have any way of cannot be frozen on this build though. So perhaps if you were doing the full build, you would want to throw on something like a Ravenfrost on here so you would not get frozen for sure. And this would that would have worked out even better. So this is Players 3 difficulty. You know what? Gotta try it now. Let's hit it on Player 7. Alrighty, so there we are at Player 7 difficulty. And one thing I do want to note too that I haven't mentioned yet, I have not been even remotely in trouble. I have not even been really looking at my health at all. There, the health went down a little bit here. I think it's kind of more from the archers, right? But man, I hadn't been in trouble until right here on Players 7 difficulty here. It's getting quite a bit harder. So what it looks like, it is still working though. That is absolutely, it is chopping the health down. Not the fastest, but it is working because you do get crushing blow on the mace and everything. The health is getting knocked down. I would suggest this is kind of not going to be a Players 7 difficulty type of build, but on Players 3, it was, I would say, definitely viable. Not the fastest in the world. Grief is going to outdo it. There's no doubt that anyone could ever say that this is better than a Grief and like Fortitude and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it worked pretty good. What I do want to do is check another important place here. Let's go to Players 3 Trav. This is incredibly interesting to me, how well this is actually working. Now, if you have been watching me on my recent live streams, I've actually been running Trav with a Grief Berserker Barb, and it's been going perfectly fine. I mean, Grief obviously slaps, but let's go ahead and check this Players 3 difficulty Trav run here with the Whirlwind Barb. And just remember, I have no type of Lightning Absorb. I have no type of Fire Absorb either. Look at these Hydras slapping me. And this is not the fastest in the world. I don't know what my hit percentage is. Maybe you would need more dexterity or something like that on your character. And this is Players 3 also. I do want to mention once again, my Mercenary is not a very good mercenary setup either. I'm just going to let him go away, to be perfectly honest. And I'm just going to slowly take these guys out. This might be a better off on more of a Players 1 type of thing. They are healing each other too. But you see, there is no survivability issue to speak of. So essentially what it looks like to me is anything Players 3 or less, you literally can't even get harmed almost. Because of all the defense, you have 10% life leech with the crushing blow. It really is, this set is pretty darn good. It's essentially what a barbarian is. You are a tank. You are dealing out a bunch of damage when you're hitting everything, but it is an absolute tank. And also remember, not an expert barbarian player here. Actually, I have not even killed one of these yet because they keep healing each other, unfortunately. So if you're running Trav, you're probably going to want to stick to Players 1 if you are using this set. So they're finally done, and it did take several minutes, I'm not going to lie, in order to take them out. But my health at no point dropped anywhere under like 97%. I'm going to be perfectly honest. So the survivability is definitely there. Damage output for Players 3, maybe not so much. So what would be my final conclusion? It is not a godly set, but it is not garbage either. Really, as far as sets go in Diablo 2 Resurrected, this is probably one of the better ones. The survivability is crazy. The damage kind of isn't quite there. And it's kind of important to note also, you do end up with cold damage on your actual weapon. So a lot of the corpses, like when I was doing Trav, they were freezing and shattering. You do need to get cannot be frozen somewhere. So probably I'd want to throw on a Ravenfrost here if I was going to be doing this long term. Now, it is also important to note that that two-piece set with the helmet and with the boots is used quite often, especially early on. You can't find yourself a Shaco. This is a good option. You don't have Shaco, you don't have War Traps for the Magic Find, and if you're doing a Singer or something, this does have the Warcry skills on it. So, and also if you're running Trav, it does have Gold Find on it as well. So Throw the topazes in it, bam, you get a bunch of magic find just with the 2-piece set. I would say probably the 2-piece set for this is used more often than the full set, but the full set is used sometimes too. All the pieces are relatively easy, with the exception of Immortal King's Soul Cage. The armor, it is a little bit more difficult, but this would be, I would say, a middle of the road type of set. It's not godly and it's not garbage either.